special occasion, meticulously decorating it with shiny baubles and pretty lights, and finding the perfect spot for it in their home, only for a catastrophic disaster to take it all away in less than a minute. This happened to a family in Wales, who just days after getting their tall fir tree ready for Christmas, watched as the flames and cause burned away their holiday dreams. Association. You might think you're safe if you use an artificial tree, but that's not totally correct. According to research by Underwriters Laboratories, a pre-lit artificial tree can be just as dangerous as a dry, natural tree, though the number of fires from real trees do outnumber artificial ones by a 3-to-1 ratio. Even if an artificial tree is flame retardant or resistant, if the fire burns hot for long enough, the protection wears off and the whole tree can catch fire. 160 fires make up only a small fraction of total house fires, but a blazing Christmas tree is very dangerous and more likely to be life-threatening. This is because they burn so fast. Instead of a few flames gathering momentum and giving time for smoke alarms and human detection, a Christmas tree on fire becomes an inferno in seconds. A dried-out tree flashes over in flames in less than 1 minute, catching and spreading faster than newspaper. There are several reasons for the rapid burn rate. The trees have a large surface area and a porous structure that allows more oxygen to be pulled in to feed the fire. To add to this, festive trees are often placed near flammable curtains, gifts, furniture, and rugs. Though both real and artificial trees are very combustible, artificial trees have another flavor complications as the blast is like Christmas tree fires cause an average of 2 deaths, injuries, and property damage per year. Almost 1 in 5 house fires were caused by the elements of the tree. In 25% of all cases, a heat source, like a candle or a wick bulb, was too close to the tree. These fires also cause high fatality rates, resulting in death once every 31 incidents. Even without Christmas trees, festive decorations still cause several fires. Around 700 that per year. Animals are to blame for 1/3 of these incidents, and cooking was responsible for and help others be aware of these dangers to prevent accidents. And a tragic dried out natural Christmas trees on fire in a limited number of hours that were several relatives of the same day. Up to 18 people were killed or stayed there at various times.
Watch this. I can show you that I can do some answers online and show you features. I can show you how, but I can't do it for you. I've seen 4 people online to do this, so on a training in the last year. Across thousands that'll give you access to the deals like the
3-story building located near the Philadelphia Museum of Art belongs to the city's public museum. Inside the building, there were 6 people, but none of them were actually working. Most of them were bored. Time for the city's last inspection. One alarm that common things can take work, but by the time activated, it was too late. Less than 5 minutes after the first emergency call, firefighters were on the scene, but the situation was already dying. Fire Commissioner Adam said there was serious smoke when they arrived, and the temperature in the ceiling reached almost 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The whole building was filled with toxic smoke, which most of the residents survived the initial fire. Firefighters did their utmost to save the day. They found one person alive this time, but the individual sadly passed away at the scene. After investigating, firefighters discovered that the driver were likely outside the tree on fire. Investigators believe that the lighter was responsible for the driver, but didn't place the blame on anyone. Unfortunately, due to various reasons, Christmas tree fires burned so fast, the situation became a disaster within seconds. 3 sisters and 9 of their children were perished in the tragic accident, making it the deadliest fire in Philadelphia. an outpouring of support for the Jacksons, whose friends, family, and community have brought them food, clothes, and messages of support. A page for donations was set up to help the Jacksons, and the children received coloring books and pencils from their school as gifts. With Christmas coming up, these stories might be a little concerning, but there's no need to ditch the trees and decorations in a panic. We just have to be more careful when decorating and remember some important prevention tips. The first tip concerns the tree itself. For people who like to decorate their house with real trees, a fresh one is ideal, as a dried-out tree will catch and spread fire quickly. This is why forest fires are so dangerous during a dry spell without any rain. Check your tree by combing your fingers through the branches regularly, and see if the needles stay on or come off really easily. If they fall off quickly, it means the tree is dry and it's time to dispose of it. Another sign of freshness is sap on the trunk of the tree. To make sure the tree takes water in well, make a fresh cut on the stump, or ask the tree vendor to do it. Once it's in your home, water it immediately and daily for as long as it takes in water. A dry tree can go up in flames in less than 10 seconds. And flashover takes only about a minute. But in a well-watered tree, the flames are contained to one section of burning branches. Don't let it go dry, as you can't return it back to the same state afterwards. If you have artificial trees, flame retardant. Excitement, bursting with holiday cheer. Lighting a tree too early in the season means a higher risk of drying out over time. Similarly, try not to let your tree hang out for long and take it down sooner rather than later to be safe. Experts recommend keeping live trees for a maximum of 4 weeks. An important factor is the placement and arrangement of the tree. Decorations, electrical devices, heat sources, and surrounding furniture a Christmas tree. It should be placed away from heating ducts, fireplaces, and other heat sources. As for decorations, candles often appear to tree. And if you've been thinking of the same fairy lights, consider it might not be the safest option. Electric lights, LEDs are safer and they don't produce lots of heat. No matter what style you choose, check that the strings of lights have a broken head, as they can have water damage or signs of chewing or roasts. Any green, chipping, or cracked should be thrown away and loose and broken bulbs need to be replaced. Pay attention to the manufacturer's instructions for wattage and the maximum number of lights that can be connected. Also remember not to tuck the cords under a tree skirt, area rug, or anything else flammable. Though it might be pretty, it's best not to leave the lights on unattended, so turn them off before going to bed or leaving the house. As for the other decorations, try not to use pine cones or anything else flammable that could fuel a fire. Finally, always make sure you have well-placed smoke detectors that are working well, and a fire safety plan in mind in case the worst happens. The holidays are a time when people feel extra cozy and safe in their homes. And the last thing on your mind is the possibility of a terrible accident. But if you follow some simple precautions and take appropriate safety measures, you can keep yourself from worrying too much and just relax and enjoy the season. God bless your people for the holidays. Tells me I have something called resting Grinches. Remember, use our coupons too to get 25% on your first order and try to save 2 cents today.
The best part of Christmas is basically the presents. They always hide it in the same exact place.
Kinda want it to be a surprise, but I kinda wanna know too.
I act like I never saw anything. That's why I call being sneaky.
Because your lives are forever entwined. Love entwined. Shop K's last big sale of the year and save on everything. Only at K.
For a lot of folks out there, gaming is their way to relax. The feeling of coming home from school or work is without movies and playing some banter-filled matches. It's really a feeling it rejuvenates our soul. What's strange to me is I remember hearing all this stuff growing up in the 90s about how video games would rot your brain and make you become violent. That being said, though, there have been a few disturbing examples of people with video game addictions and other unhealthy gaming relationships committing heinous crimes. Bloody disputes over rare game items, gaming romance turned sour to a kid shooting his parents over hate, and in today's video, I'd like to look at where murder and video gaming intersect. These are the video game killers. We start off with today's sponsor, Warby Parker, providing your boy with a slick new pair of glasses. Warby Parker is committed to providing exceptional vision care online and in stores, offering eyeglasses, sunglasses, eye exams, and contact lenses. Their glasses start at just $95. Warby Parker is unique in that their try-on program allows you to try on 5 frames and for free before you make your purchase. All you gotta do is take their quiz that names your face structure and style preferences. Pick 5 frames that you like and they'll be at your front door in days. I really enjoy having multiple options here and being able to take my time to try these frames out in the comfort of my home. knockoff of World of Warcraft, the main game is pretty much dead today, but the private server community surrounding the game is still thriving. And in 2019, one of these thriving private server communities was that of Perfect World Void. And it's a Perfect World Void player that will be the focus of this tale. That player is known by the name Minhas. A highly active player inside the Perfect World private server, Minhas was also an active member of the Perfect World Void Discord as well. In the Discord, he had a bit of a reputation and was known for being a troll of sorts. In particular, Minhas was also known for being a staunch atheist, and he often left incendiary comments disparaging religion in the Discord servers and in the game itself under the name of. Minhas had a particular dislike for the religion of Islam, citing his hatred came from parents pushing their religious beliefs on him growing up. Now, Minhas would often type in this sort of edgy / 4chan influenced dialect, so at times it was kind of difficult to tell if he was joking around. He really kept his intentions ambiguous at times. A lot of people know Minhas off as being nothing more than just an edgy shitposter. So you might imagine when he sent the following message to a Perfect World Void member on Discord, they probably thought he was kidding around. I just slaughtered my entire family and will most likely spend the rest of my life in jail if I manage to survive. The Discord associate replies, "Nani? I just woke up." The member likely thinking this was another one of Minhas' old bits. Minhas then replies, "I'm sorry. The pics." The friend replies, "Okay." Moments later, Minhas began sending over graphic photography showing dead bodies covered in blood with their throats slit, briefly shot, or threatening with replies, "That's not your family. And that's actually pics." If that's true, why did you do it? Is this another troll? From him, Weird Hill replies, "No, I'm sorry to say."
Dry eye symptoms keep driving you crazy. Inflammation in your eye might be the warning sign for a need to convert. Pure dry eyes typically work better than clean yours. Because two-thirds of most probably have eye needs. Not even the worst typically. Cause dry eye walk the syndrome. Xiatrix approved to treat the signs and symptoms of dry eye disease. Doing this if you're allergic to Xiatrix. Common side effects include eye irritation, discomfort or blurred vision reflected in the eye, and unusual taste and sensation. Got any room in your eye? Ask your doctor. Eye care works with your recreational only as little as $0. I totally said it was free. Call today to revive.
Until lunchtime, feel better. That'll get your tail wagging. Next to the adventure, ATVG, now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus. Minhas wouldn't stop replying for time. In a state of panic, this online friend, who would later reveal himself to the media as being a man named Maroon Ayub, he would start contacting other members of the Discord, informing them of the situation and the photos that had been sent. And when presented the situation, other Perfect World Void members would confess to Maroon that Minhas had sent them the photos as well. The recipients of these horrifying photos would then band together and formed an impromptu investigation team regarding the situation. Maroon and his associates were initially skeptical, thinking that perhaps the images were downloaded from the dark web or some shock site, and Minhas was simply using this as some sort of trolling campaign to mess with them. But after performing extensive reverse image searches on the photos that they had received, they weren't able to yield any results and couldn't find any other matches of what they were sent on the internet. It appeared that these photos that Minhas was in possession of were original photography, never before uploaded online. And with this realization, the group was facing the grim reality that Minhas was likely not joking in his messages. They were dealing with an extremely serious situation here. Moments after they had reached this conclusion, Minhas begins typing more messages to Maroon, explaining himself further. "I know I'm a pathetic coward subhuman. I'll be turning myself in. Why did you choose murdering them, though? I've been planning this for 3 years. Why? I started skipping university in the first year I entered. It was for mechanical engineering. Believe me, if I could rewind time, I would. But after failing half my subjects, I had to repeat my courses. It is here in second semester that I started getting depressed and became an atheist and ultimately created this plan. So for 3 years I've been telling my parents I go to university when actually I was just hanging out at the mall 4 days a week. The mall is on the same route as my university. I told my parents that my classes weren't that long, so I would just chill at the mall from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. while also going to community gym. I did this because I don't want my parents to feel the shame of having a son like me. I chose to kill them instead out of my own cowardice. Due to me being an atheist, I believe that this is the only life we get. I know it might sound confusing, but what's done is done, and what had been planned has been concluded. I'm sorry if this makes you upset. Please try and remember the good times. So according to what Menhaz had typed to Maroon here, it appeared as if the young man was living some sort of double life, lying to his family about attending college for multiple years, when in reality he was just skipping classes, going to the mall, and doing little more than playing a bunch of video games. And with this being college, there would be an eventual graduation date, and with this graduation date apparently looming, Menhaz would decide to murder his family instead of simply going through the shame and telling the truth of what he had actually been doing for the past few years. Maroon replies, "It honestly doesn't affect me. I'm just sad that you chose to go this way. Though I am sure your parents love you since you were able to show them their trust of safety. Even if you were at your lowest point, you will fight your way up. But as you said, what's done is done. I can't see why your actions make you good or sense about what you do. It remains a major crime of selfishness, though. I'm just sad that you chose to damage others and yourself. Fight their lives, not yours." Menhaz says, "I'm a pathetic coward and subhuman. Since I'm an atheist, I believe there's no afterlife. So I was scared to die, and I wanted them to die so they didn't suffer knowing how much of a pathetic subhuman I was. It's all very selfish. I'm just pathetic." Menhaz would go silent. As at this point, where members of the community started working on doxing Menhaz, as to reveal his full name and address so they could report him to police. Doing a meticulous social media deep dive, the Discord group managed to discover that the man's full name was Menhaz Zaman, and an IP address associated with one of Menhaz's accounts indicated he was being a resident of the Greater Toronto, Canada area. Online scientists discovered that Menhaz had at one point accidentally shared his home address with them during a PayPal transaction, and this address synced up with the Greater Toronto docs found in the IP graph. Members of Maroon's impromptu Discord investigative squad would then make calls to the Toronto police, informing them of the grisly photos sent to Discord and the messages that Menhaz had been sending about his family. Taking the matter seriously, police looked over the reports and verified the address was indeed the Saban family residence. It was a nice-looking home located just northeast of Toronto in the city of Markham, 1006 Castlemore Avenue. With the confirmed address in hand, on the afternoon of July 28th, police would set out to the family home to perform a wellness check. When the squad cars arrived at the house, Menhaz noticed them outside and sent the following message over Discord: "The police are here. Goodbye." Moments later, cops enter the residence and are met with a horrifying scene. Police would discover the dead bodies of all 4 of Menhaz's immediate family members. Each of them put people in the car and their throats slit. The victims included his 50-year-old mother, his 59-year-old father, his 21-year-old sister, and 70-year-old grandmother. In the wake of the gruesome discovery, Menhaz was immediately arrested and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. This perfect world mystery killer had been taken into custody due to the wealth of the online community surrounding the game. It was later discovered by police that Menhaz had actually systematically executed his murders the day prior. On the afternoon of July 27th, his father and sister went to their respective jobs. His mother and grandmother would remain home with Menhaz. When his mother and grandmother would take a nap, that's when Menhaz started his killing spree, killing them in their sleep. After dispatching the 2, Menhaz would walk out the perfect world and began messaging people about the killings of Discord. Several hours later, his sister would come home. The strange man ambushes her at the door of the car and slits her throat, killing her. Menhaz would do the same around midnight to his father when the man returned from work.
The community is in utter disbelief after 4 people were found murdered inside this house yesterday. We are live on Castlemore Avenue in Markham, where we are learning more about the victim. A source tells the City News
that he'd been lying to his family about college attendance as far back as 2015. A lie like this wasn't sustainable forever, but rather than eventually have to tell the truth to his family, in 2016 he hatched a plan that dictated that he would murder all of his family on the day of his school's graduation ceremony. I think it's clear that this was a plan that he followed through with. New Trophy Vodka Seltzer. Preview vodka. Real orange. It tastes so fresh.
On family.
New Trophy Vodka Seltzer. Yeah, that's what I want to taste. While on trial, Nick has a show while shame regarding one's own academic performance. To think that one is justified in their entire family to avoid feeling shame for that is unacceptable, psychopathic, and just absolutely reprehensible in every way. Minhas was a complete coward. There was no justification for believing things weren't done in self-defense. His family wasn't abusing him, and a lot of people throw around there's societal pressures within his culture to perform in academia. Alright, maybe, but that doesn't mean kill your fucking family. During trial, the judge presiding over the case said this was saying, it is difficult to imagine a more horrific way to take human life than by slitting the victim's throat. Mr. Zaman did so not just once, but 4 separate times over a span of hours. No right-thinking member of society would see any remote correlation between the imminent disclosure of the secret of Mr. Zaman's non-attendance at school and the impending of the lives of the people closest to him. In November of 2020, this more quadruple murderer, 24-year-old Minhas Zaman, would be sentenced to serve life in prison with a chance of parole after 4 years serving. Without the intervention of the boy in this community, it's possible that Minhas could have gotten away with his heinous crimes. Perhaps if given time, he could have gone into hiding and assumed a new identity. But thanks to these mostly anonymous individuals, the self-described subhuman brings justice. That is the story of Minhas Zaman, the perfect world history guilty. Our next story involves two Chinese gamers who into a dispute over a rare in-game item. When one player betrays the trust of another, things quickly get criminal. This story begins with an old online game, Legend of Mirror. Legend of Mirror was a top-down isometric MMORPG released in 2004. Developed by South Korean studio We Made Games, the title was immensely popular in Asia and once maintained an active player base of over 750,000 users. The game itself is documented and serves as a forgotten relic of the medieval era. A criminal case stemming from the game is still talked about today. This infamous hit begins all the way back in 2004 with two Legend of Mirror players, 41-year-old Chu Chongwei and 26-year-old Su Zhaoyang. Chu and Su both live in the Chinese city of Shanghai, and while they knew where each other lived, they didn't really hang out in person. Just how much drama rare loot drops can cause.
Yeah, I want that rank. I do.
Alright. Who else wants it other than pros? Just all the pros can't come on it. Come on, what are you
What the
doing?
fuck? Oh my god. I mean, a dispute over a rare item can cause year-long friendships to disintegrate and even the tightest of guilds to implode from within. Which of course brings us to the topic of the Dragon Saber. A sought-after, high-leveled, and graphically impressive melee weapon, the Red Dragon Saber was one of the rarest drops in the Legend of Mirror, an item coveted by all and wielded only by the luckiest and wealthiest of in-game players. And that being said, one day, Chu was playing with another in-game friend named Lee, and they just so happened to get the item as a drop. Upon the discovery of the drop, the two would make a pact, agreeing to basically share the Dragon Saber and lend it amongst themselves when a person needed it. Now this is where Zhu comes back into the equation. Eventually he would learn of Chu's Dragon Saber drop, and he also learned that Chu was cool with lending it out to So one day he asked Chu if it would be okay for him to borrow the item as well. Chu, feeling as if he could trust Zhu, at some point lends out the blade to the 26-year-old. And for a short time things go well with Zhu hanging onto the blade, not doing anything shady with it. But like many other legendary blades in fiction, sometime after wielding it, he starts getting devious thoughts flood his mind. The man gets greedy. While in possession of the sword, Zhu finds himself browsing eBay and notes that people were selling Legend of Mirror items on the site. And to be specific, he noted that some Legend of Mirror dragon sabers had been selling on eBay for close to 8,000 yuan, an amount that comes close to $1,000 adjusted for today's inflation. For a virtual sword, that's a pretty hefty price tag. After learning of the sword's real-world value, that's when Zhu makes the decision to betray the trust of his online associate and sell the blade. The dragon saber would eventually sell to an anonymous individual for the price of 7,200 yuan, which comes out to approximately $900 adjusted for inflation. Naturally, time would come for Chu to ask for the blade back from Zhu. And whenever Zhu informed him about the sale, that's when Chu became enraged. Chu would ask for some sort of monetary split from the blade thief regarding the sale. The idea was entertained by Zhu for some time, but no money was ever doled out and the guy ghosted him. Furious, Chu would go to the police over the matter, explaining that someone had stolen his online item. But to his surprise, police informed him that there was nothing they could do about it because digital property wasn't considered real property under the law. So technically, no crime actually occurred. Seeing that no justice would be served, that's when Chu takes matters into his own hands and manages a sinister call in October of 2004, reports saying that Chu would travel to Zhu's apartment complex in the city of Shanghai. And in the early hours of the morning, the incensed man would break into Zhu's residence. Zhu is alerted by the intruder, but before he has time to process what's happening, he's attacked by a knife-wielding Zhu Zhongwei. Chu would go into a blind rage, brutally stabbing Zhu in the chest. The man would pass away sometime later, likely feeling that he got revenge from the situation. Chu would then turn himself into police. Chu would eventually be convicted of murder and was initially sentenced to death for his disproportionate response to having his items stolen in a pig. However, the sentence would be reduced to life in prison. The family of the murder-killing Zhu was quoted as saying this: "We want Chu to die immediately. Although such capital punishment was never executed, Chu will have to live the remainder of his days and he threw his life away for an item in a game that doesn't even exist anymore. Was it worth it?" Our next story is a bizarre case involving a gamer and his long-distance love interest. After experiencing rejection this year, he started making sure things with her online sweetheart. Our story really begins all the way back in 2007 with Shane Coffey from Weymouth, Massachusetts. 14 years old at the time, Shane Coffey was an avid RuneScape player and actually managed a YouTube channel at the time documenting his adventures in the MMO. Often known by his in-game alias Ice the Elf and Xbox gamertag Coffee522, Shane actually had some degree of success as a RuneScape content creator in the early days of YouTube. Several of his God Wars dungeon tutorial videos received over 100,000 views, which is extremely impressive for this era of YouTube. Shane was also one of the first to discover one of RuneScape's most notorious glitches, the infamous Mew glitch. This glitch involved the player using alt keys to type the Mew character into in-game chat. When Mew was submitted to a public chat room, the Mew character would crash the game client for any players within your vicinity. RuneScape is also where Shane became one of his first romantic interests. United female named Farah Dole. Farah and Shane played RuneScape almost every day together. Once in contact for years, Shane reportedly sending her Christmas cards. Shane would eventually quit playing RuneScape and move on to Call of Duty on his Xbox 360, but he still kept in close contact with Farah through Skype and other messaging services. And this sort of close communication would continue on into their late teenage years. But what we find is that as Shane got older, he became more obsessive and a borderline stalker of his long-distance romantic interest. waitress. Shane, 19 years old at the time, reportedly tricked Farah into downloading a virus that would give him remote access to her computer. And doing this, he looked into chat logs and discovered that she was talking to other guys. And just to add, I've never seen any reporting explicitly stating that these two were like boyfriend and girlfriend. I think they were just flirty online friends. And let's also keep in mind that these two live literally thousands of miles away from each other, okay? When Shane discovered Farah's conversations with other guys online, he completely blew up on her. This creepy invasion of privacy prompted Farah to cut all ties with Shane, blocking him on Skype, WhatsApp, and other services. He was completely cut from her life. Apparently, the kid wasn't able to handle rejection because he immediately starts planning out revenge. If you thought the computer virus bit was unhinged, wait till you see what he does next. In the wake of being rejected, Shane would purchase a plane ticket, fly to the United Kingdom, and book a hotel. Because Shane had previously exchanged Christmas presents with Farah, he knew what her home address was. And on April 18th of 2014, Shane would make his way to Farah's residence, equipped with a hunting knife. Late in the evening, Shane would break into the home and made his way to the young woman's room. As she was sleeping, Shane jumped on Farah and began viciously attacking her, stabbing the woman repeatedly. Farah screams for help, and moments later, her brother Muhammad enters the room. Muhammad springs to action, grabbing Shane's neck from behind and throws the blonde-headed intruder from atop his sister. It's at this point where Muhammad produces a metal rod. Using the rod, he quickly overpowers the knife-wielding gamer, beating him into submission. Battered and bruised, Shane eventually yields and pleads to Muhammad for him to stop hitting him. Muhammad would comply, calls emergency services, gets help for his sister, and the teenager is arrested. Fortunately, despite receiving numerous stab wounds, Farah would survive the attack and make a full recovery. After his arrest, Shane would be charged with attempted murder. Further investigation would reveal that sometime before coming to the UK, Shane had Googled some pretty suspicious stuff, such as how to engage in hand-to-hand knife combat and the quote, life in UK prisons. Speaking of UK prisons, in November of 2014, Shane Coffey was sentenced to serve life in prison with a chance to make parole after 8.5 years served. They completely threw the book at him, which was well-deserved in my opinion, considering the lengths that he went to get revenge for simply being turned down by a girl. I'll bookend this segment with a quote from the lead detective of the case. While this kind of incident could not have been anticipated and is extremely rare, it is a clear reminder of the dangers that the internet may pose. We would always urge caution when engaging with people you do not know online, and would strongly advise that you do not give out any personal details whatsoever. Our next story is a deeply disturbing one, involving a seemingly well-adjusted teenager shooting his family after they took away his copy of Halo 3. Daniel Petrick, age 16 at the time of this story unfolding, was by all means a normal kid. Living with his mother and father in their home in Wellington, Ohio, Daniel attended Wellington High School and had many friends. People that knew Daniel described him as happy and minister at a local church called the New Life Assembly of God. Daniel regularly attended services here in all things considered, Daniel was a good kid. However, worse, he suffered an injury during a skiing trip. Developed a serious staph infection resulting in spinal fracture. Daniel's health was approaching, where the frustrated young man remained bound for a year to facilitate recovery. During this time of limited activity, Daniel was able to incorporate habits such as spending hours and hours a day watching online video games. One video game series in particular that would prove to be extremely addictive for Daniel was Halo. While he was mostly homebound,
I'm going to show you how to elevate your makeup game using one of the best moisturizers, the Ole Henriksen's.
Daniel was on occasion allowed to go to his friend's house, and it's here
really got into the Halo franchise. When Daniel was with his friend, he would spend hours a day playing multiplayer, and he would become completely addicted to the game. Daniel would attempt to play Halo at his house as well, but after his religious father discovered the game's ESRB rating, the aliens, and the excessive violence in the game, he banned it from the house. And seeing his son's growing addiction to Halo, he would give him an ultimatum: either stop playing the game or get out. After receiving this ultimatum, Daniel would choose the latter option and go stay with his friend for the weekend. There, he would play more Halo and continue to feed his addiction. At this point, it's really the story of a gaming addiction deteriorating a family relationship, but it gets far worse than that. The time frame of Daniel getting kicked out of his house was in early October of 2007, and around this time, the newest edition of Halo, Halo 3, had been released to the public. In spite of his father's wishes, Daniel would secretly pull together the $60 needed and bought the game. He was eager to grind away at hours of multiplayer matches. However, at some point, when Daniel was returning home, his father catches him attempting to smuggle the copy of Halo 3 into the Petrick residence. After this discovery, the coveted game was immediately confiscated by Mark. The disgruntled father would put the copy of the game in his lockbox next to his 9mm handgun. While Daniel was extremely upset the night of the confiscation, as days passed, it appeared he relaxed and came to terms with the loss of the game. But this state of placation was all a big show, as Daniel had formulated a devious plot to get his hands back on the game. On the evening of October 20th of 2007, Daniel would discover the location of his father's lockbox keys. While his parents were distracted watching television, Daniel would sneak into his parents' room and break into the safe, taking not only the copy of Halo 3, but also his father's gun. At approximately 7 p.m., Daniel reportedly walked up to his parents from behind as they were sitting on the couch, and it's at this point he's quoted as saying, "Can you two close your eyes? I have a surprise for you." The family obliged, and moments later, Daniel would draw the handgun and shoot both of his parents in the head. After shooting his family, Daniel would place the gun near his father's body in an effort to stage the crime scene and implicate his father for the shooting. However, while he's doing this, a visitor comes to the house. Daniel's sister and her husband would arrive to the residence for a planned viewing of a televised baseball game. Daniel knew these two were coming, but they arrived 2 hours earlier than expected, catching Daniel off guard. When the couple got to the door, they found it locked and Daniel wouldn't let them inside. However, eventually they managed to get in and discovered the horrific scene. Daniel, now in a panic, would take the keys to the family van and flee the property. He reportedly had plans to travel to his Halo-playing friend's house and hold out, but Daniel's escape plans would be thwarted after his sister dialed 911 and reported the murder.
My mom is shot, my dad is shot, my brother's here. My brother said, don't come in, don't come in.
Police would intercept the stolen van and take the deranged teenager into custody. What comes next is a bizarre interrogation where Daniel shirks any responsibility for the incident. Rather, he spins an unbelievable narrative trying to frame his own father for a murder-suicide.
My dad was just yelling, just screaming at my mom. Then I heard my dad walk in the room, walk into his bedroom, and walk back out. So I ran out there, and my mom had been shot. He pointed the gun at me. Then he said he was sorry, and then he shot himself.
The gaming-addicted teenager was taking no responsibility for what he had just done to his parents. Unfortunately, Daniel's mother, Susan, was sadly killed during the shooting. However, his father, Mark, would miraculously survive the attack despite a shot to the head. Mark would eventually make a full recovery and would be able to participate in the inevitable inevitable murder trial that his son would be facing. Daniel's trial would begin in December of 2008. In court, prosecutors would attempt to portray Daniel as a cold and calculated killer, a deranged sociopath that was willing to kill his own family over something as trivial as a video game. They noted that Daniel had planned out his murderous plot a week ahead of time and attempted to frame his father after the killing. The defense would present a rather interesting case for Daniel. Rather than attempting to deny any of the facts of what had happened, the defense tried to argue that Daniel was not guilty by reason of insanity, essentially claiming that Daniel's Halo addiction was so severe that it caused him to make irrational decisions out of his control in an effort to feed that addiction. His attorney would make an additional argument, one suggesting that Daniel was playing Halo so much that his perception of reality was warped by the game itself, noting that when players die or kill another in-game, they always respawn. You know, the argument basically suggesting that Daniel's mind was so warped and influenced by the game that he literally thought that if he shot his parents, they would recover, respawn, or just magically get better like Halo characters do. It's an interesting argument, but it would ultimately not satisfy the court. After the emotional trial had concluded, Daniel Petrick was found guilty of aggravated murder, attempted aggravated murder, and tampering with evidence. In June of 2009, 17-year-old Daniel Petrick was sentenced to serve 23 years to life in prison. He will become eligible for parole in 2030. A lot of time has passed since the Halo 3 shooting incident in 2007. Daniel and his father Mark have both had ample time to reflect on the situation. Prison interviews show an extremely remorseful son and a father that has learned to forgive Daniel for his actions.
I can't count the number of times he's told me that he's so sorry for what he did and he'll never be able to forgive himself. I can't count the number of times that he said, yeah, I was smart. I just smart. I've always taken responsibility for it. I don't try to deny that. I know it's nobody's fault but my own.
Your dad at that time was fighting for his life. When he finally came to, he said that he hated you. He despised you. Can you understand that?
Absolutely. You know, could I blame him? You know, in light of what I did today, even if that was the way he still looked at me, could I blame him? I don't think I could.
We all deserve forgiveness. I will now continue to choose to forgive my son. I want to help him. I want to help get the word out to other people so these kinds of things don't continue to happen, like the Sandy Hook shooting.
A tragic story of video game addiction and murder, that was the story of Daniel Petrick, the Halo 3 killer. And that wraps up my Video Game Killers Compendium. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a comment below and leave a like if you liked it. I want to give a major shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys. Wavy Web Surf out. Peace.